February 29th, 2024. How's it going, guys? Well, I've got another video for you, and we're going to talk about Kansas City, Independence, Missouri. We're going to talk about crime. We're going to talk about drugs. We're going to talk about the homeless. And I actually talked to a gentleman last night that was a homeless person that lives right here in Independence at a motel. And a lot of interesting things were said. Now, he was talking a little bit about everything from politics to the drugs and everything else. And that's what I want to talk about here for a little bit. So, I'm listening to him on several things. And first, he started talking about Biden and how old Biden was. Now, I'm a Republican. I voted for Trump, and I'm a Trump person. But I'm listening to all this, and I listen to see, so much of this stuff, everybody's being pushed against one another. And I want to see what's actually being said from where the homeless view is. That's what I want to talk about here. So he's talking about how old he is. He should have never been actually ever put in there in the first place. Originally, when he went in there, he seemed to me, I don't know, like he seemed competent. Like I say, I voted for Trump. I'd vote for Trump again if he gets to run here. But the thing of this is, it's the views of how people look at things, and depending on what level they're at, what income, where they're at. And I try to look at this and see, how is this being manipulated? Because there's a lot that's being manipulated here. When people talk about this, they all talk about when the pandemic started back, I think it was in 2020, January 2020, if I believe. And this stuff started a long time before that, guys. And I'll get into that in a minute, but let's just go on from there. So he's talking about Biden and basically, saying that, he wouldn't vote for him. And, now I got a real good black friend that I went all the way through school with. Me and him, like I say, we're really good friends. And he always tells me about his views of what, he's seen. And he's got tons of different family members, and they all practice different religions, different things, and stuff like that. And, just like, he was talking about, well, say if, Trump got back in again. And I said, well, what if Trump didn't get back in? What if it just was the same thing again? What if nothing changed? Well, then what would happen? And I said, oh, that just wouldn't happen. Yeah, well, what if they do? What if something does happen like that? I don't know. And then I was noticing yesterday on YouTube, there were several different YouTube videos from different people and stuff. They were talking about how this could actually turn into like a civil war down the line here. But I mean, to me, that's what they're trying to do anyway, because they're trying to bring the U.S. down. And but there's a lot of people here in the U.S. that would like to see it fall. Now, getting back to way back, I talked about the witchcraft groups. And why I'm going to talk about this too is because this pertains to some of this. Now, I'm just going to show this as a reference point. This is a deal from back in 2012. Okay, guys. Now, this was a flyer when I went to one of the tarot card deals that I went to. And they had different meetup groups. And there was a gentleman that basically worked for Honeywell Now, this guy, I mean, he was German. Germans are always, here you go again. I just can't imagine some of the stuff here, but I mean, do people never learn anything? I mean, from history. But this guy, he's working on a plasma ray. Now, they've been working on these plasma rays way back before 2012. Okay, guys? So when they say, oh, the U.S. doesn't have anything, we don't have nothing, that's a load of BS. That is a load of BS. But getting into this, okay, they were creating these groups, these other witchcraft groups, to spread out all over from Kansas City, all across the United States, okay? And this guy would come in, and he had intel, but he would come in, and I often wondered if this was a deal to manipulate everybody. They were talking about that they were going to actually try to ban certain from marijuana. Well, we know they didn't ban marijuana. They let everybody smoke it. But he also talked about different kinds of herbs and different things where the government was going to come in and ban them to where nobody could plant certain, like I say, different kind of plants and different things like that and stuff. And I used to sit there and I thought, well, what's the deal on this? But then I think about where this all goes today. But I also know that this was part of the plan, because when I was sitting there and they were training these people to be in these Wicca groups, to be in the witchcraft groups, to be in like cells to push them out. They were training so many at a time, and then they let them go out on their own and do their own thing. Well, I mean, that's just like a group of military guys going out, one here, one there, one here, one there. I mean, I could get into about the Wicca and the other stuff. It's a little bit different. I mean, from the witchcraft and the other. Some of this stuff was not to do harm to anybody if you actually look at all of it. But a lot of this stuff wasn't. That ain't what they all use it for. So I'll probably make another video on that down the line. But getting on with this, when this gentleman said that, I was thinking, them banning, plants and planting certain seeds and stuff. And this guy, he's working for Honeywell. Now, Honeywell, originally, I forget what the other deal was called. They used to have like plans for the plan over here where it was flooded. I forget what they called it down here off Bannister. They used to keep the plans to build like the nuclear bombs there and stuff. This was way back, guys. So I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, well, where is this going in the end? But then when I used to go up north, because say they had these places, they had them over on the Kansas side. They had them up at Liberty up there. These meetup groups, witchcraft meetup groups, and these were all intelligent people. A lot of them German, some of them Church of the Resurrection meetup groups. Okay, some of the Unity, some of the ladies, even in that, were working for the Pentagon. Some of them had been recalled. I was sitting with these people, guys. So, there was a lot going on. Now, you got to understand, when was this? 2012. That's long before the other. This was already planned out, this chaos, all this stuff here. And the more chaos you do, the more it can be destructive for the inner structure of the whole U.S., the government itself, to fall. You need to think about that. But at the end, the last time I went to one of these last witchcraft groups, they were actually just telling them to push them out as quickly as they can, to get the groups together, to train them for a few weeks, and then let them go out on their own. That was the last thing I heard when they were doing it all. And these people were all interconnected. They were connected up there at the Ford plant. One of the head ladies that was actually Irish, she was one of the head other witchcraft bunch part that was connected in with this group, between like a Shady Grove and Sacred Groves bunch. So you got all this, okay? You got all these, like I talk about, these cult groups here in Kansas City, okay? You got the gay ones, you got the witchcraft because it falls into play. You got the neo-Nazis. You got the Black Lives Matter. Now my friend that's black, he don't like the Black Lives Matter. He don't like that. He says it's just basically it's another thing, it's another agenda. There's another agenda being played out here, guys. Yeah. So getting back to the guy that I was talking to, the homeless guy last night. So then he was talking about, about he was wanting to find a job. Well, here's a guy that's supposedly actually looking to find a job. Why can't he get help to find something? Now there's a guy I've talked about up here on Nolan Road that gets out and sweeps all the time. And often wondered about that guy because he seemed like he was always diligent. He was always up there. Well, yeah, I said something about that guy, and and like I said, this was a black guy here, and he said, some of them got mental problems. Well, yeah, there's some people that have, mental problems out there. There's people that's got autism out there that we let people work in, and if they're not doing drugs, that guy never seemed like he was out there, floating or staggering or high. He always seemed like he was working all the time. So then, he said there's so many of them that, are mentally ill. And then he got into talking about the drugs here in Independence. And he said that he was living over at one of the motels over there. He said there's a lot of white gals that are basically, they hook, but they're high all the time. They're hooked on, I don't know if is it the crack or whatever, or maybe it's the meth. Whatever the balls are, he said they're always doing those balls all the time. And I said, I think Independence police have done better, okay, over here. And he said, well, it's not in the motel rooms. Because he said where he lives over there, he said, a lot of the rooms, he said that's all goes on all the time. So I found that interesting, because here you got a homeless guy that said he's living in one of the motels over here off Nolan Road, and they're hooking a lot. They're basically doing drugs all the time. And he said the white gals over there said they're high all the time, going all the time. And I was just thinking, this is another thing to let everybody know here in Kansas City, in Independence, Missouri, because this was from a real homeless person. And then I'm getting to think too, in my mind, I'm thinking about all this. I'm thinking, well, about when he said about the mentally ill and stuff. So then what he's saying is that they won't give them jobs, but they're going to let them run around out on the streets. They could be a danger to other people. They could be, stuff like that. I mean, like that one gal was wielding a machete. That one time, me and my son was at the restaurant there. Now, that's crazy. I mean, then some of these people then need to be checked out. They need to, but I don't know. But then I come across some of them, like I say sometimes, and this guy I had a long conversation with. That's why I'm talking about this today. And he was just saying that he said that Independence police need to do more at those motels inside. Well, if that's the case, there's several things the way the city can go about certain things like that. It is to take a brain surgeon. They can send a codes people into those motels to see if they meet code. And they can go and inspect every one of those rooms to see basically, if they have running water, if the toilets, if the sewer lines are working on them and stuff. And then if they come across all that stuff, then they could call the police in and notify them and let them look at that. I mean, there's always ways, guys. But then, there you go. It's money and stuff. Is it work, the city gets money from the motel, so much from their taxes if they're paying their taxes, but who knows if some of these businesses are paying. A lot of businesses don't pay their taxes either. It's not always just the individual residential person that doesn't. So, there you go again. It makes you wonder. But, like I say, This was from a homeless black guy that, like I said, I was talking to last night. And I just, like I said, I found that really interesting about all that. Oh, one other thing. Now, something else I wanted to talk about too about this, because this black gentleman also brought up something else. Now, there's a deal I want you guys to check out. I want you to check the. I'm not affiliated with any other YouTube channel, but check out Conservative Twins today. Check out their video today. And this was on, I think it's called the Lakeland Riley murder in Georgia. Check this out, because this guy, he did some terrible stuff to this gal. Killed this gal and mutilated her face, what I understand and stuff. Check that out. This black gentleman I was talking to last night too, that was homeless, he brought up that he said that there's even now some of the cartel over at these motels. I think that's something Independence Police and the rest of them should be checking into then if the cartel's over there. Definitely. Because he said he kind of got into it with one of the guys. And now the guy I was talking to, I mean, he said he kind of come out more out of the hood area here and stuff, but he said he stood his ground on all that stuff. But just to let people know where this is going. So if we got cartel and they're dealing their drugs over there and mixing everything else, and they got white gals hooking over there in the motels and the other stuff, I don't know. But it's something it could be taken a look at a little bit more than guys. And I went over there, me and my son went over there to eat this restaurant. Get a hamburger. Didn't know I was going to get in a long, lengthy conversation with this one, like I say, homeless guy. Now, he didn't smell of drugs. He just seemed homeless. I actually could smell coffee on him. I got a real good sniffer, too. I could smell pretty good. It ain't nothing worse than smelling those people that do that weed when you're walking through and stuff, man. It's just terrible. Terrible stuff. Nasty smelling stuff. But I don't know, guys. But I wanted to get that out there. I think Independence is doing a good job getting the streets halfway, getting them off the streets, in my opinion. I actually seen Independence this morning driving through over in that area this morning. They were actually driving between even Gordman's and Toys R Us this morning. I mean, at least it's keeping some of it down. But if the motels are infested with drugs and prostitutes and stuff over there, I mean, unless they go in there and dig through, they're not going to be able to know. You know, here you go again. But you know, you can also check. You know, like I say, codes can check for that. Codes. And you also got the fire department. Fire department runs down the street every day here. Hey, guess what? Fire department go in anytime they want. Check all the, you know, basically the sprinklers and all the deals and see if they're functioning properly. I wonder if all the fire stuff works at those motels over there. You know, it don't take much to go check that stuff out. Never know what you're going to see. And a while back, you know, I did post on that one motel on Nolan Road there where there was I think a couple cop cars, and I think there was an ambulance over there that one day. But I don't know, guys. A lot of stuff going on. And one thing he did convey, though, this homeless guy, drugs. Drugs are the problem. Well, like we all didn't know that, huh? You know, you got your lefties over there that think it's all good and okay, and they're all so for it, you know. Not good, guys. I mean, you know, this deal on this weed deal, you know, well, look at this. The ones that were smoking the weed before are the ones that probably are still smoking it now. Whether it was illegal when it was illegal before, they're smoking it now. But they just jump up and do worse things then. They're taking it to the next level. The only bad thing about this was people that probably hadn't done it might have gave some of them maybe a 15 to 20% of the people more to go do it. Now, I do think, over there in the Hollands and Netherlands, weed had been legal for a long time, guys. Actually, several years back, they were thinking about going back and getting rid of all of it and banning it. But that's a whole different kind of people, okay? You got highly educated people across the board. We have people here in the United States that are from all different levels, from poverty level all the way up to the top to the high class. And that does make a difference. And when you get that kind of the other people that are mixed and, are not responsible, it can cause chaos too. And I was just thinking, here's a homeless guy that's living in the stuff around over there in Independence here at that motel. And he's saying that the drugs are the problem. So I want to let everybody, what I come across yesterday evening and let everybody know, what's being said out there. I like perspectives from other people's angles because I like to see what's being done. But like I say, this deal, and like I say, from some of the witchcraft and the ones, but these were not just, you got to understand, Germans are very good at manipulating certain things. That's what they do. They're good. They plan. They're very good planners about stuff. And I was married to one for 18 years. I should know. So the thing of it is, I'm not German. I'm English, Irish, and I got Cherokee, American Indian in me is what I got. But I still wonder about all this. And there was all mixes mixed in with all this stuff, like I say. And I have papers, and I have photos, and I have things that can prove where I was with these people and stuff like that, too. So, like I say, I believe it's a deal to actually bring down the U.S. and try to get this out there so people can understand and people that do have common sense that can think about this rationally and think about this here. And like I say, guys, if you get a chance, check out the Conservative Twins channel there too. Yeah, I'm not affiliated with nobody's YouTube channels whatsoever, but they do give out great information on lots of different things. Anyway, guys, keep your eyes open and stay safe out there.